Okay.
And we're live.
Y'all live?
We're live.
And we live.
Yeah.
So we live.
All right. It's the deal world. My name is Anthony. This is my lovely co-host / mom, Paula. And this is the Mom Son Unfiltered Podcast. So today, we got a few topics we want to talk about. And we're going to get off our chest.
You want to add anything? Maybe we can tell the viewers how we started this or how we came up with this concept of doing this. I'm gonna let you take the lead on that, and then I'll finish it up, or you want me to take the lead on that?
You can take the lead.
Okay.
Tag along.
I really don't know how we came up with this, other than we have great conversations. This is my oldest son. He's the first out of 5, so it's literally every time he calls me, we're on the phone for hours at a time, and we just have great conversation. One thing leads to another. And I know that's probably not, what's the word I'm looking for, exciting, or it's probably not monumental for somebody else, but for us it is. And so I'm talking too much.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's exciting. I'm tagging.
No, it is exciting.
You.
It's exciting, but I think it's exciting to have those kind of conversations with your kid with your kids when they grow up and they're able to fall into just like you're addressing stuff as adults at that point and not as a mother and son almost. So when he calls me and talks to me, he might always call and ask a question or for some advice, and it always leads into us talking about other things. And literally we were talking about the podcast, about getting the setup ready. And I think we started talking about Drake and Kendrick Lamar, y'all. Like we was getting ready for photo shoots.
That's not the only thing we talked about.
Nah, it is not. It is not. But we were actually talking about setting up, and then the conversation led to the songs we pick and why and what we did and how he introduced me to some things he didn't know he introduced me to when he was younger. And so that's kind of how we came up with the concept.
Want me to give him my take?
Yeah, give him your take.
So basically everything she said, I would agree with. It really came from us mending our relationship from being distant for a long time,
right?
And just checking on each other, checking on each other. And when we would check on each other, we would be either at work, coming home from work. We talking for 2-3 hours, like for real, no cap. Long time, but we getting stuff off our chest, telling us how we feel, talking about things in the past, talking about family members, just talking about various topics. So, the idea popped up in one of our heads, like maybe the world should see this,
Yeah, because I don't think it's a mother and son podcast anywhere, a mother and son show anywhere where they talk about their life, everyday current events, whatever's going on in the world. There is no show like that's why I thought it was a kind of unique idea. Mm-hmm. And then of course we we melanated, so that's a whole totally different perspective.
We trying to knock down doors for people of our kind.
So ain't no glass ceiling for us.
It's okay to speak to the world and speak to your family and show the world that whether that's working stuff out, getting stuff off your chest, because we are unfiltered. I might be a little bit filtered, respectfully, because this is my mom.
Right.
If y'all try to do this, don't go out there trying to be real unfiltered. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about a lot. And if y'all got any, topics y'all want us to touch on, we will have guests in the future, and we will have people to chime in. So if y'all got anything y'all like us to talk about or touch on, we'll be happy to do that.
We are streaming on my TikTok network, right? My TikTok, what is my TikTok? Just Rain Solo. So right now we're streaming live from Just Rain Solo on TikTok. I know we have a YouTube page. I know we have a Facebook page. We sitting here tonight with the incredible MTS Network. They are, they are production company. They got us on it. And we just ready to talk. So
we're gonna jump.
What y'all got? Y'all got any? We're gonna jump into it. What you got? What you talking about today?
So a topic that came across my desk, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's we're gonna go with self-care.
Self-care.
So
okay.
Tell me And after you give your 2 cents, I'm gonna chime in, of course. But
mine's more like 6. But go ahead.
okay, what does self-care mean to you, and how does it translate throughout first the Black community, and then how do you feel like it's important to the world?
Well, this boy got me on a whole talk show, y'all.
So
you remember this boy put me on a big talk show question. You know what I'm saying? He hit me with a real professional question. I'm a nurse by trade, so self-care is physical, mental, basically. That's what it is for me. Physical and mental, okay? How does it transcend in a Black community? Is that one of the things you asked me?
Yeah, Black community, and then
what does
the
it mean
world.
to me, right?
Yeah.
Being a mother, a Black mother of 5 at a young age, I did not put self-care at the forefront of my life until a couple of years ago. Recently, I had I can't even say it's a health scare. It was a health diagnosis, right? So I was diagnosed with a disease, and so that made me it forced me to put my self-care intact. For mentally, like, if you're not doing self-care, I don't know how you are mentally stable, right? Because you got to have time to decompress, right? And I hate to say it, I think I'm Gen X, Gen Z, something like that. What is it? Gen Z? I'm Gen Z.
No, you definitely not Gen
Z. Gen X. You Gen Z?
I think Gen Z the newest.
Okay.
Generation.
She's Gen Z. Okay, well, I'm Gen X, right? I think for us, our motto is kind of something happens, we internalize it, and we move forward, right? All the TikToks that be coming out, all the Facebook posts that be coming out, literally that's what it says about Gen Z. Like, we are the generations not to be fucked with. We the generations that the lights on. We knew what that mean to come in the house. Did nobody tell us? Like, our parents left us at home by ourselves to raise ourselves, like, seriously, and to become good products. Gen Z, that's you, Gen X, whatever. Gen X 2000, I say 1999 babies, 2000 babies, them babies, some of them parents just left them at home. We were left home with a mission. When we were left home by ourselves, we were left home with a mission. So we've been carrying stuff for our lives, right? It's been literally something happens to you in your life, you internalize it, and you move forward. Because the weight of the world is resting on you, right? That's how we were taught. That's how we were taught to move forward. Being a 40 plus Black female, I now know with five boys, I now know, especially in the line of work I do, that I have to carve out time for myself, for my mental health. I don't always decompress like I should. And again, that kind of translates into issues within your family. Because when they were younger, I didn't know how to decompress, right?
Yeah.
That's fair. I couldn't decompress. I didn't know how. I literally would probably go to work, spend 16 hours a day at work, and then come home. And the first kid that moved the wrong way, I was yelling at him. Right. So the first kid, I was yelling at him, right? And then as time went on and I developed as a woman, I realized that we are the people that take care of people, right? So if I'm not taking care of myself, how can I productively take care of them? Now, the thing about this is, me and Aunt grew up together, right? So because me and Aunt grew up together, I learned as I went. And so now I can teach them, you gotta take some time for yourself. You gotta plan you a spa day. When you got time, take it off. You work for Mr. Jim. Mr. Jim give you 80 hours, take your 80 hours. Don't be trying to make Mr. Jim better. Take your 80 hours. And that's kind of hard for me. You know what I mean? Like I said, raising 5 boys, it's hard for me to take a day off. But I need that, especially with the line of work I work in, and especially to be productive for my family. Cause Lord knows when I'm not, stuff happen, like Thanksgiving. Stuff happen. Stuff happens.
We can talk about it since we're on filter, but for the sake of staying on topic and not going too far off, so you feel like your experiences, like how you actually feel like that translates in the Black community? You feel like everybody, like, I'm pretty sure everybody in our community can relate to that, because it's a lot of fathers not in the home, and it's a lot of mothers having to take the forefront. And as you're working so much, taking the forefront and being the mother and father, it's easy to neglect self-care.
Right.
So I think that's how that can relate to everybody in the Black community.
Well, like I like when we sat down and had our conversation, when we were rebuilding our relationship, or actually we wasn't even in rebuilding mode at that time. We were just kind of like, let's get it off your chest, like put it all out on the table. Yeah, the Black community, that's who we are, that's what we are. That's but at the end of the day, I'm a person. I'm a woman, right?
Right.
It's toxic. It spills over to you. Like it spilled over to my kids, right? It spills over to everybody, and you don't realize how much it spills over. I do know that. Whether it's the Black community, the brown community, the white community, the orange community, that's for the Trumpers. I'm sorry. I'm getting a little feedback here. But that's for anybody. It spills over. And we'll just say some people have better money of hiding it. Right?
Now let me ask you this. Since you're saying that it does spill over, which I do agree with.
Did it spill over on you?
Well, I'm talking about into the different communities.
Okay.
We're going to get on me.
Okay. I'm trying to get him to come out of the shell, y'all.
Oh, I ain't in the shell. I'm out here.
Okay.
Everybody knows. Nobody see me. I'm a ghost. But I'm out here. But since you said that all these different communities, I think that translated to the world. And so that leads me to ask you, how do you think self-care is important to the world as a whole? Since it touches different communities,
it's going to get deep, y'all.
It's important to different communities.
Let me give y'all a little background, right? So I'm a Gemini. I'm a communicator. I love to talk, right? And so the question he asked, or what he laid out there, is kind of a loaded gun for me to talk for the rest of the hour. He said, how does it relate to the world right now, right? Think about Section Orange right now.
Section Orange, school me on that.
We call our president Agent Orange. Some of us call
I'll be in the bubble.
Some of our he Agent Orange for me, or wig. I either call it. If you hear me say wig done messed up today, I'm talking about the leader of our free world right now. They got us in all these tariffs. Let me say this. If he was performing self-care on himself, he would have knew not to run. Right? He would have knew not to run for president. Right? But that's even if he cared about self-care. Because if you don't care, then you don't care. Right?
Yeah, and we all know people like that, whether it's your appearance, whether it's your mental health, whether it's your finances, anything that has something to do with self. People neglect that. They feel like other things are important. So I'm with you on that.
So let me ask you a question, right? So for you, how does it relate to, because you have a daughter,
for sure.
Like 5-year-old daughter, right?
Yeah.
So how does that relate to you knowing, so it's two questions. How does that relate to you, right? Growing up with a mother with 5 boys, right? And then how does that relate to you in regards to providing that for your daughter? So do you relate to self-care for yourself, and
Absolutely.
Then how does that relate over to you?
Whether people know it or not, it touches everybody. Everybody has a relationship with self-care, because it's like a self-love, and most of the world is self-absorbed, so they have some sense of it. But in terms of me and my daughter, how it relates to me and my daughter, I just think about what I went through growing up. Probably going to school not dressing right, or maybe dressing very formal, or as some would say, dapper, clean, fresh, swag.
Right.
So the appearance, that matters a lot. Then you got the hygiene aspect. I think that's important. Then you also got, then it's, once you take care of all of that, then it's you able to help take care of others. Because I'm going to be honest, the first time, I probably knew what self-care was, but it didn't resonate to me growing up. But the first time I pondered on it was when I think we was having a conversation and you was like, you just spoke about it too. You said, how can I take care of y'all if I can't take care of myself? And as a kid, I didn't understand. And I'm like, we should be your number one priority. But now, since I do have a kid, it's like, if you're not mentally there, which is yourself, if yourself or your mental is not there, you can't be the best parent you could be.
Right.
You can't install the doctrine and the goodness into that child. So I feel like self-care is important in terms of parenthood, because if you're not right, the child not going to be right.
Right.
So that's where I'm at with it in terms of that. And then the second part, you said from the kid.
So how do you teach Alana self-care? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask you if I could say her name.
It's good.
But
y'all gonna know about Alana. Everybody who sees, she a celebrity already. She just ain't on camera like that. Y'all don't see her. Stay tuned. Alana Jade. But
so how does it relate in regards to her? Because she is a girl. So first of all, let's just get this straight. I did not teach my children self-care until I learned self-care for myself, right? So self-care wasn't even a thing back when I was growing up. Again, I talked about that a little earlier. It wasn't even a thing. So when you realize what things are, and then you're able to instill it for yourself, because I go get a massage every other week. You hear me? I go get my nails done once a month. I go get my hair done once a month. I'm a jack of all trades, but it's something in letting somebody do something for you. I know you pay a service or whatever, but it's something about paying the service and not having to do nothing, especially when you're a worker. When you work all the time, you don't have time for that. You're tired. So it's something about taking yourself out and indulging in yourself, right? It goes back to the self-love he was talking about. But I think we downplay it so bad. We put these little labels on things. And no, self-care is an actual thing, but we didn't know about self-care until when? 2000 and something? I've been born since the 70s. So imagine how that would have helped me when I was younger, right? So people get on these little trends and they go with this self-care, woke, stuff like that, and I'm for it. But the bottom line is you have to take care of yourself.
Right. And I feel like how that transition for me, teaching my daughter, I think it first started with hygiene. Like, you go to the restroom, you got a wipe, baby girl, you got to do this. And this a touchy subject for me, because not only am I a single father, and I wanted to break that generational chain, but I have a daughter, so it's very, very not picky, but it's like sensitive, you got to be careful, we as parenting, you don't know what you're doing,
right.
So you ask people and all of that. So I'll say self-care for my daughter, teaching her, it started with hygiene. To be honest, her mom really takes care of most of that because she's a girl.
Right.
So in terms of pampering, dressing, I do my best. I done combed her before.
Right.
And all of that translates. She try to do her makeup. She dresses herself. She brushes her teeth. She do all of this stuff.
Right.
So it's on autopilot now. She kind of know what to do. And
right. Because that's basic. That's basic hygiene, right?
Right.
Right. Basic hygiene. So
So yeah. So with that being said, I'm a run through the 3 questions that I asked you.
Okay. I probably did not answer them because I'll be all over the place. Yeah, I'll be all over the place. Cool. First of all, I'm excited, right? We've been building up to this day, and so I'm excited. I'm like really excited for this. And I'm a little nervous, but I'm one of them people that I ain't never scared and I ain't never nervous. So henceforth, the shot and the big drink that I'm not really drinking, right?
Yeah.
So again, like I was saying, I'm nervous a little bit. I'm a little nervous because I'm here with my seed.
Nervousness is a human
but to go back, go ahead with your question.
So I think it was, what does self-care means to you? What does it mean to the Black community? And then what does it mean to the world? So what self-care means to me is first your image, because I think I was taught, or I learned about image is everything. Yeah, because when people say stuff, they're not really teaching you. You might just hear a phrase.
Okay.
But when I heard that, and then as I get older, I realize image is a lot. It may not be everything, but the everything is a exaggeration of it being a lot. It means a lot. And so you want to look presentable. You want people to accept you in certain fields.
Right.
Because this lady here, she taught me fuck them all. If you feel
I taught you what? I taught her fuck them all. Fuck them all.
Don't worry about what people think about you. But in a sense, you do have to worry because you might be in a professional field. You know, you might be networking. You want to gain business clients. And if you don't look a certain way, people may reject you.
And and I'm not cutting you off, but I'm just kind of piggybacking on what you're saying. When I say fuck them all, when I said that, because like he said, that's what I taught them, that meant you the one. You know what I mean? Like it was to kind of instill that confidence in them. Like, I don't care if you ain't got J's.
Yeah.
You got pro wings. And we gonna rock them hoes like they J's. You hear me? And I don't think too many times my kids had pro wings
don't worry.
Unless they granted when and bought them pro wings. Because I did not.
Got a strong mindset, but
I did not.
Her 5 boys be making sure she get right.
I did not.
We ain't doing the pro wings.
Nah, we didn't do pro wings. If we did do pro wings, they granted went to Payless and bought them for them.
But don't take that as we didn't struggle.
No. For real though. But what I'm saying is, if the whole point of fuck them all was to walk in a room like you own the room, right? Because identifying as a black person, like, we don't always do that, right? We still had this slave mentality that was gave to our ancestors. It ain't even ours. Like, we were talking about it in church the other day, and we were talking about how slaves were not allowed to compliment their kids. They could, but the minute they complimented their child was getting sold because master saw something good in it, and so they sold them. And so what happened is, it's a book, and I'll drop the book in my comments a little later. And I go to the Friendship with Baptist Church of Dallas, Texas. Great church, right? Great Pastor Haynes. But he talked about the slave mentality in regards to, and it goes back to self-care. How do you not take care of yourself so you don't get sold? Right? How do you tell your kids that you never tell them you're proud of them? And even today, we don't do that. I think we don't do that enough. We don't grab our kids and say, "Oh, I'm proud of you. Oh, you made an A." We don't make big deals out of that, right? And so at church Sunday, he related it back to that book. It's passed down from our ancestors. So in regards to self-care, how can you get something that you never knew was important? How can you do that, right? You can't do that because you weren't taught that, right? So with that being said, you go back to what you were saying.
Right. So yeah, I'm in agreement, but yeah, that's what self-care means to me. But what I feel like it means to the black community. Okay, we finna get deep right here. So
he said we finna get deep.
A little bit.
Tune in, Rod. Tune in. Step in.
But this what I feel like self-care means, or not even mean, the importance of self-care. The importance of self-care to the black community. You good? Your church good?
I'm good.
Okay.
You know, it's.
I heard that noise. I didn't know what.
Nah, I'm scooting back. I'm scooting back.
But yeah, this how I feel like it means to the black community. People might look at it as, oh, you know, we want to be drippy, we want to be fresh. That is important. You know, that's you taking care of your self-esteem, because you feel like if you look good enough, you can perform good. That's very important. I didn't have that growing up in school. So I would agree that's important, but it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's the background, the subconscious stuff. You know what I'm saying? It's your finances, it's your relationships with your family, it's other stuff like that. You know, even though that don't sound like self-care, but when you take care of that stuff, then you get to play around with other stuff too, because you just splurging all on your looks, like, and you ain't got the necessities and the what's the word you always told us when you ain't got XYZ.
That's it?
Nah.
I don't know.
We don't know, right? We both are nervous, but when you ain't got that stuff taken care of, you won't suffer in the long run. So make sure you take care of yourself. You could splurge on yourself, but just do it a little. If you know you ain't up in life, like, don't go too crazy. You know what I'm saying? Don't spend all your money. Don't live paycheck to paycheck, just trying to be fly for everybody else. Because to be honest, a lot of us, we fucked up out here, and if they see you fly, they not gonna care, or they gonna envy you. So you just setting yourself apart just that much more. People like that you look good, but they don't look good as you, and you're not about to give them advice and help them. So self-care, take care of yourself, but also take care of what matters. So
I think
if we did do that, I feel like us as a Black community, we will be more tight knit like these other communities. I don't have to name them, but we know the communities that come into our country and they build their own neighborhoods. We know the communities who throw barbecues, and any of whoever of their culture is invited. We need to be more like that. We need to be more tight knitted. So make sure y'all take care of that self-care. And then what I feel like it means to the world, if everybody, I don't know, that's a little hard.
That's deep. That's like
because you can care for yourself, but you also got to care for others. I feel like I feel like the whole world deals with self-care already. It ain't too many people out here sacrificing themselves to go help others. Now, don't get me wrong, y'all are out here, and I appreciate y'all, but we know a lot of people look at the world as a bad place. It's a lot of badness that goes on. Maybe these people do these bad things because they ain't taking care of themselves.
Right.
Just something to think about. You never know. But
I mean, it definitely plays a part in mental health. So yeah, if you're not taking care of yourself, your mental health is completely jacked up, right? I can get into some scientific language for you if you want me to, but like bottom line, you are completely jacked up. You can't take care of nothing. Right. Kind of going back to what we was talking about earlier today on the phone, community. You know what I'm saying? Like the community, right? The community matters. You got to build up the community. You stay in, you got to get back to the like sometimes we get in this bubble, and I think that's why we're in the state we're in now in the world, right? We get into this mindset, oh, this is what's going on in the world. I'm not going to worry about that. We're just going to worry about what's going on in this house. The thing about having 5 boys, raising 5 boys, is it's 5 of them. So guess what? They have friends. So it's like 5 plus 5. So any given time, it could be up to like 25 kids at my house at one time, right? To me, that relates back to taking care of the community, right? I wasn't just like a Claire Huxtable, but I was like maybe like her sister, like I wasn't even that. I was maybe like a distant cousin of Claire. You know what I'm saying? I always had kids in my house. It was always somebody in my house. Always kids. When you got 5 kids, they bringing other kids in from the community. You want to be a productive part of their community, right? You want to give back to their community. You want to pour into their community, whether that mean you taking a kid from down the street to a football practice with your kids because your kids done befriended them because they actually do have a mother that care home. You know what I'm saying? So it all ties back into that for community for me. You know what I'm saying? The village is real, right? I couldn't have made it without a village. Yeah, I raised 5 boys, but there's no way I could have raised 5 boys by myself. Everybody like to get into that self-absorbed role where they like, I did this, and I'm guilty of doing it too, right?
Because we're human.
Yeah. But at the same token, if it wasn't for my village, I had a great foundational village. And if it wasn't for that village, and I ain't talking about community, I'm talking about people within my family. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't have raised 5 boys. You know, I couldn't boast about raising 5 boys by myself because I did. But
you did, y'all. I seen this woman quit her vices. I seen her double the workload. Stretch that. She tripled the workload, 2 jobs and school, and come home and cook. So, for sure. I
did. Oh, thank you. I did. But at the same token, I had a foundation. Like, my mama was everything, of course. My sister. I had other sisters, like of the village that I pulled into. One of them was a best friend from childhood. The other one was a friend that I had met, and she just grew into our family. You know what I mean? And over the time, things happened, and we actually, all of us became family. But that was my village. Like literally, we were talking on the phone today about the monumental things in our life, and I'm talking about those two individuals, and we haven't always been, these past years of growing, we've kind of separated from each other,
Right, as everybody do.
right? Those ideas get really bold when you get in your 30s and 40s, right? Your thought process about certain things and your perspective about certain things, it becomes monumental in your life, like a keystone for how you deal with the people around you, right? And so there you find yourself cutting off people, adding different people, making your circle a little different. But those two people helped me, you know what I mean? And just looking back, because we have grew apart a little bit, we had a conversation today about how I felt their village, because all of my kids are older, right? So I had all 5 kids the first, right?
But all y'all. No, I'm saying even their kids are older now too.
Their kids are older now, but what I mean by I felt the village, they both were there for y'all growing up. Do you see what I'm saying? But by the time it was time for me to repay the favor, we had got grown and fell out. You know what I mean? So the relationships were not the same. And so today, just looking back, and probably because nostalgia, probably because this, probably just because of the good feelings, good vibes going around.
I'm always taking a trip back down.
I had to pick up the phone and call one of them. I called both of them actually and told them, hey, we're going to have a conversation today. Now, everybody knows me and this person ain't been getting along for the past 8 years. I picked up the phone and I said, I got to apologize to you because I failed our village. I let myself get bigger than the village, right? Meaning, when I needed that person, she was there. She basically raised my youngest son. That's how I was able to go to school. That's how I was able to do stuff. That's how I was able to work 2 jobs. You know what I'm saying?
Talking about who I talking about. She raised me too.
She raised him. Then my sister, from like the beginning of me just being me, becoming Paula. She literally was there, would leave her house and come move in on my couch just to help me take care of my kids. So yeah, they mine. And people like to remind them, even though you helped raise them, they are Paula's kids. You know what I'm saying? You might have helped. But I felt our village, I took from the village, right? Because they were there for all 5 of my kids, maybe up until Rodney's last year of high school, but then they were there still for him. I felt their kids because their kids are younger. And I wasn't there for their kids like I should have. Like, these are my godchildren. Like, 2 or 3 of them are my godchildren. We shared the responsibility, but I wasn't there for them growing up. Like, I have my godson that, like, I ain't been to nothing for him since me and his mama fell off type stuff. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I had to call and apologize about. Like, I failed our village.
That's good.
Right? Now, for whatever reason that may be, I needed to get away at the time.
Right.
And so I had to separate. But in return, I should have been able, and they knew they could call me and I would be there because things did happen and we were there for each other. But I failed the village because I wasn't there for them like they were for my kids. We have gotten less accomplished in the last 10 years than we did when we were all together. We got a lot of stuff accomplished when we all.
So let me ask you that, since we can both agree that these 2 individuals are family, because family not just your blood, it's relative who you relate to.
Right. Okay.
When you grow up, you know what I'm saying, people, you branch off and you make your own family with people that you feel like you got a rapport with and connection. Right. So the next topic, which you done already ushered it in, would be which would be
told y'all I'm a talk.
Family relationship longevity. So with these 2 individuals that you've known since before I was born, and I'm the oldest, and with all of our family that's still here, rest everyone's soul who's not here, how do you feel like going forward? Because I feel like as our family, we've come together. Me and you are doing this week for a long time. I could have never saw this happening, but we brought it together. You know, we mended what was broken. But how do you feel like everybody else? Because I think it's a lot of broken families out there, probably even more worse than ours is. And
definitely. Like you only see the tip of the iceberg when you're dealing within your family, right?
Right. But what do you think people can do or these, what do you think families can do to increase the longevity of their relationship? Because once you ghost family or you fall out with them or don't fuck with them, then it's like they kind of not family no more. So how do you feel like you can stay close to your family and increase the longevity of it?
I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Again, like I said, we unfiltered, and my best key boy done tapped out on me. His daughter over there.
I'm gonna do that.
His daughter over there acting up. So here we go. Okay. So you asked me a question in regards to
the longevity of family relationships.
Of family relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And how. Come on, I know his niece, y'all. He got tuned into his niece real quick. But say it again for me, because I tend to slip to forget things.
How do you feel like people can improve the longevity of their family relationship?
I think, like you said, for me, it's growing up, right? You gotta grow up. You gotta grow up within yourself.
Out of childish ways or ways.
You gotta grow up out of childish ways. You gotta. I don't think I'm the only person that gets convicted, right? Like, I could literally do something, and if it's not right, the Holy Spirit or my conscience or whatever is politically correct to say, I'm gonna say the Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Spirit tap me on my shoulder and say, that wasn't right? Or you don't always have to be right even when it's the right thing. Sometimes it's just good for you to be quiet, right? So when I'm convicted by certain things, I can only sit in it for so long until I have to address it and fix it, right? And I think there's stages of life, because everybody ain't like that. It was a time when I was like, hell to the no.
Yeah.
I ain't talking to her no more. I ain't talking to him no more.
Right.
Even my kids, I'm not talking to them motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to talk to them, because at the end of the day, we are all human. We all go through stuff. And once you get somebody to a certain point, you think you through. That's it. I don't want to deal with you no more. I did my obligation. I did what I had to do, and you push them out. And so why do I have to hold our family together? Yeah, why I have to hold our family together? People get into that thought process. Why does it have to be me always apologizing? Why does it have to be me to fix it? Right? You got to think of the bigger picture. So that's what I mean by growing up, becoming more mature. It takes life, though. You have to go through that in life. You gotta know when to hold them and when to fold them, kind of, right?
I agree.
With our situation, realizing, I think it was like I felt like my kid hated me, right? Like I felt so much hate from him, right? And I thought I was out here killing it, right? I done went back to school. I done got this. I done got that. I got good-looking kids. I got good-looking boys, right? I done raised good-looking boys. I done raised moral kids, right? This is what I'm thinking. I did it my way. And, I'm sorry. And literally, my kid told me, girl, you think you done did something for me? And he didn't say it then. I'm going to paraphrase it. And believe me, I'm here to protect my kid, right? I'm here to protect my son, and he's here to protect me, because we know these topics gonna get hot. And I could just see some of y'all out there in TV land, red, white, and blue land is what they calling it now, or whatever they calling it. But I can see y'all sitting out there saying, "Oh, she was just a horrible parent," right?
Well, it ain't no context. No. You talking about based off what you just said? No,
based off of what I'm finna say and how deep we finna get into some situation. No, I'm not gonna put you out there like that. Calm down. But I think we got to her. Too, so. I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. See, he gonna give me these big questions.
20, okay.
Oh, he got me this big question at the end, and it gets a little. For me, it gets a little deep, right? Because any parent, if you have kids, to hear your child tell you what you think, what you thought of y'all relationship, for somebody to say, you crazy as hell if you think we got a good relationship, right? Right? Like literally you killing it. You think you rocking it. You mama of the year almost, right? They call you dishing out money. You like, sorry, you dishing out money, right? You there, a flat tire, you there. They call you in the middle of the night. I want to move. I don't want to stay here no more. You there, and so to hear your kids say, "Oh, that's what you thought. That's who you think you are. You think you think you that." And your first born none of this, right? My first child, my first love, my literally the person that I bonded with and had the longest to tell me that not that I thought I was a good mother, but I thought I was doing not even right by my kids. I guess it was just I thought I meant, and I know I do, but I thought at that time I never would have heard him say, "You not who you think you is, and you don't know how you hurt me, and you don't know what you've done to me, and things like that," right? And so, yeah, it got deep for me. So then I had to self-evaluate myself, even though I was already going through the process of self-evaluating myself, because you have to die to yourself at a certain point when you have kids.
You said you have to die?
You have to die to yourself, meaning you can't be selfish.
Like a sacrifice. Yeah. So sacrifice, I got you.
Yeah. So you have to die to yourself when you have kids to become unselfish. You know what I'm saying? And so to hear somebody you think, because in your mind you think this, but then when you hear the other person tell you how they really feel, and you really start holding yourself accountable to stuff, right? Or things that they telling you, or when you really care about how that person perceives you in their eyes, and knowing they're having kids, that's your legacy, but they not even thinking about including you in your legacy. It got deep. It went into some self-packing. It went into some therapy. I think Anthony was in therapy at the time, or was, I got into therapy. We had a lot going on in our family at that time. We had a lot of debts going on. Our matriarch died. My patriarch died, not so much as theirs, but we had people die a year and a half apart. And for me, that was my foundation. You know what I mean? So to have those people leave you, and now you basically the new foundation, and your siblings and y'all the new foundation of your family front, and trying to figure that out and move forward, you have to have a conversation, whether it's organic or it's in anger. You have to have the conversation for somebody to tell you how they really feel about you, to start to fix stuff.
So at the end of the day, we could agree that holding yourself accountable, actually hearing the person in your family that you may have a problem with, hearing them out, holding yourself accountable, and then what was that last part you said? Oh, having a conversation, the actual having to sit down, because you spoke on how we had to sit down. How you said that I told you that you wasn't killing it and you thought you was killing it.
Yeah, you told me that over the phone though, y'all.
I'm paraphrasing because it was wild, but yeah, okay, I would agree to that.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll give my 2 cents.
Go ahead.
So, family relationship longevity. I first realized the importance of it when we lost, like she said, the matriarch/patriarch of our family, and that made me realize, like, man, everybody really not gonna be here. There's gonna be people that you had an issue with, or that you've always wanted to say some stuff, and you may not get to. And you don't want to be distant with that person when you lose them, because all it's going to be is memories and guilt of you not mending it before they left.
Right.
So, with that being said, I think the key to family relationship longevity would probably be you could get therapy, you could do the therapy thing, but I really feel like it lies in yourself. Like, look yourself in the mirror, what she just said, hold yourself accountable, and you're gonna have to approach this person and have that talk with them, because it was so hard for me from the time, I would say middle school, probably even elementary school, that I was having issues with my mom and I couldn't approach her about it, especially early 2000s and the 90s. There's no, mom, I need to talk to you. Like, you're not doing that. You might have to dodge and watch out. You might get some through at you. So, and that ain't even just from her. That's just the culture in the community of how, and it ain't even just the black community. It was other people was raised like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say you gotta have the accountability. Look yourself in the mirror, have the accountability. What else?
Somebody said life too short.
Life too short?
That's what somebody said. Life too short. Like, you got to fix that. You got to mend that.
Because once I lost all my grandparents and my mama was the only person I had left, and I had been lost my dad at a very young age, which hindered me a lot in life. Because I'm still a good person at heart, but now I'm a little bit more conditioned to the world. I don't want to say corrupted or jaded, but I'm a little bit more conditioned. But yeah, just losing a lot of people growing up, and then when you older, losing your matriarch, losing both grandparents, losing all four grandparents on mom's side, two on mom's side, two on dad's side.
Yeah, you did lose all four.
Yeah, and your mom is all you have. It's really at that point, like, so you just you don't recognize the pattern, so you gonna let everybody die before you click up. Because if anybody know me, y'all know I'm a loner. Like, I don't talk to nobody like that. Like, I'm distant, I'm to myself. And it's mainly due to what I went through growing up. But my mom, like, I see these people with the good relationships with their moms. I see dudes bragging about, hey, mama, how you doing? They cook it for them. They pull up at their mama house. They can come spend the night whenever. They can come pick up a plate. Like, that shit envious, man. Like, I want to play too.
That's interesting. That's envious, right? You say that. And we ain't even finna get in no long, drawn out thing on this, but that's a good topic for next week, baby.
What's that?
Because what you just said, like, you was like, that's envious, right? And I'm not discrediting your, like,
even seeing dudes with their dads, like, they like, yeah, my pops, you know what I'm saying? He cool, I kick it. I'm just looking at them like, man, I ain't had my pops since I was like 7. Like,
right.
I had to grow up without that.
Right.
So, but yeah, I feel like that's how you do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let death be your good teacher. It can be a teacher,
right?
But just don't let it get that far. I know sometimes we young, or we got an immature mindset, and we feel like, oh, when I was young, I feel like I was gonna be here forever. I feel like I couldn't get hurt. I feel like a lot couldn't happen to me. But the longer you live, it's gonna happen. You're gonna experience death. You're gonna experience heartache. You're gonna experience loss. You're gonna experience that feeling of having a dream, talking to your loved one that ain't here no more, and you wake up and you realize that you wasn't even talking to nobody. Don't let it be that.
Right.
Talk to your people, check on your people before they leave, and mend them relationships, because all these good mended relationships, we can all come together as a collective in this community of us melanated people.
Right.
And we can multiply, and we can be fruitful, and we can have our black Wall Streets and our black Hollywoods and our, you know what I'm saying? So let's do it up, y'all. Let's do it up.
Yeah, nah, for real. So, like, imagine everybody doing what you saying. Just think about how powerful. You know what I mean? Just think about that. That's the dream right there. That literally is the dream that Martin talked about. Like, that's the dream. If you could heal within yourself, and everybody is doing that and duplicating that, we can withstand anything. Right? We can withstand anything.
Are we near wrap up?
Wrap up.
Are we
this what this is? So we got 10 minutes. We good.
We'll have a big clock.
We'll have a big clock. We doing big things. I love the conversation. I love the conversation. It's a great conversation. I can't even talk to other people like I talk to Anthony. That's crazy. Like, wow. It is. Because, like, I literally can say now, you value my opinion about certain things, a lot of things, because we talk about a lot of stuff. Not saying you take my opinion and you run with it, everything, but that's a different look when your
I always value
offspring,
your opinion, though.
but when you don't know it, if that makes sense.
Okay.
When your first child can come to you and ask you questions and you feel like you giving them what they need, it's almost self-satisfaction. It's almost up there with self-actualization, man. And that's at the top. So I'm not gonna jump there yet. But it is a like it does make you feel good about yourself to know that, hey, I had this kid 31 years ago. Right? It was 31. I had this kid 32 this year. Yeah, but I had it's 5 of them, y'all. It's a lot. It's 5 of them. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Hey, man. And the grandkids. But to actually hear your oldest son, because that's the beginning of your legacy, to actually hear him call you and say, hey, mama, let me ask you a question. And it be something as simple as that. But all my boys do it. Anthony does it in an Anthony way. Right, my other boys do it in their way. What is Anthony way?
You approach it always with professionalism, always respectful, always. You know that's how you approach everything. I have another kid that just say whatever he want to say.
Yeah, and
he'll just call me and say what he want to say.
And just to let y'all know, this is Unfiltered, and it's mother and son. And she's already told y'all she got 5 sons. So best believe y'all gonna get those other personalities. So,
not just from me, from them too. They kind of blend up on it.
We're gonna start having guests on here, and they're gonna be able to get their 2 cents. And sometimes I might have a substitute in place if need be, or they just might be our guest, and they'll have a very interesting perspective.
Yeah, because they all different.
Put on the conversation.
It's all different. Hopefully the hope for this podcast, in all seriousness though, is to literally pour into other people that are actually going through things we are going through or things we went through. Like, I'm still raising my kids, y'all. You heard me? I'm still raising my kids because it never stopped.
A lot of people,
it never stopped, right?
You never stop learning, and the job never stops.
When you are actually, because some people do they 18 and they out. And I tried it. I had 5 kids. So I got to do different things.
Right.
I got to push the kid out the door because he was the first. I got to let the other kid do what he want to do. That was the second. I got to I just got different perspectives. But I tried everything. I was able to try a lot of things on 5 kids, right? To see how that helped. It didn't. It went poorly. It all went poorly. It went poorly. However, it was a learning experience for us. You know what I mean? It helped us be better. It opened up doors that we sit here now doing a podcast, and that's our hope for somebody else. The hope for this podcast is to touch somebody else and help them maybe going through some of the same things we went through. I was single mother, young, had my first son when I was 15. I know it's a mother out there trying to figure it out. With 2 or 3 or 5 or 6, she's trying to figure it out. For sure. I'm the person in my family, and I say that with so much confidence. You hear me? Because I fought tooth and nails to get her. Right? I got the most kids. I'm the youngest. I fought tooth and nails to get her to be able to say, I can provide a better future for my kids now. You know what I mean? So it's somebody out there wanting it. It's some son out there wanting to talk to their mama.
For sure.
And can't.
Because when I talk about that envy, just like little kids might see other kids with toys.
Yeah.
If somebody see somebody with a good relationship with their mama, I don't care if their mama did them any kind of way. They gonna want that parent. They gonna look at them in the perfect light.
Right.
Man, why I can't have that? Why I can't call my mama up? Why I can't hug my mama? Why my mama can't tell me she love me?
Right.
So
yeah. So the point of this is to help somebody be able to do that, right? We not perfect. It's still a learning curve. Even though we've been doing it for 32 almost years. But what it is hope for somebody else, right? That you can get her. It's hope. Nobody could ever told me that I would be doing a podcast with Anthony or suggesting it, and he say, like, okay, sure, mom.
Yeah, because
like you know what you want. You know what you want to do. You know what I'm saying? You know where you can to have your son look at you as a leader, right? And take like, yeah, we can do that. Like, even if I'm not feeling like we can do that.
Right.
That's big. That's big for somebody out there to know that you can get her eventually. What you're going through right now is what you're going through.
Right.
Whether you're a son, whether you're a mother, whether you're a daughter, right? Because we're not just appealing to boys and women or young men and women or single mothers, right? We appealing to everybody that ever needed help in regards to their relationships within the family.
So yeah, y'all, that's the Mom and Son Unfiltered.
Yep,
And
we made it.
we made it.
We made it.
We ain't gonna wrap it up just yet. This something I want to incorporate at the end of every episode.
I love it.
And she can do this too. It could be just me asking her per episode, her asking me, or us both asking each other like we did throughout the podcast. But I want to ask her a question. No, I want her to ask me something at the end of every podcast.
He don't want to ask me no question because you know I'll go, baby.
I'm about to. So
I'm looking at my production manager over here telling me to wrap it up.
My closing question to you, because one day everybody gonna transition into, to the afterlife. So
Whoop.
just as we mended our relationship and gotten closer,
okay,
I got a question for you.
I'm listening.
And you can answer either of these three. First one will be, what's the story of how you chose my name? Second will be, what's your happiest memory of raising me? And the third will be, what is something you always want to tell me, what is something you've always wanted, you couldn't tell me, but you always wanted to say to me?
Oh, okay. And you want me to answer it now? Because I'm going to answer it next week. When we start this podcast again, that's going to be my answer. That's gonna be my answer. No. So I'm gonna start the podcast. The next podcast we do, I'm gonna start it with my answer, and I'm gonna ask Anthony the same question. So we are.
Well, you can ask me now, because this is gonna be like our little ritual.
We wrapping up, I know.
But we got 2 minutes.
Nah, we don't.
Answer it real quick.
Okay.
Want to do the name? Because I already know the answer.
Nah.
That's quick.
Nah, my happiest moment was.
Press for time, so.
Nah, you want to let me talk? It was literally telling you, I'm proud of you.
Oh, which question you answered?
The last one, number 3.
What you always want to say to me?
I'm proud of you. Like, yeah, if this was my last time saying something to you, it would be.
No, well,
it kind of going the same.
It's not that it's your last time, but before, I never get to see you again.
Right. Same thing. I'm proud of you, and I'm proud of the man I always knew you would be.
I appreciate it.
That's what it is.
I appreciate that.
So,
well, y'all, this has been Mom and Son Unfiltered. Check us out on YouTube, the
see
MTS Network.
We got Facebook.
Her TikTok. We'll plug everything in on the website, and we will be back next Thursday.
Hit us up with questions, whatever.
So
all right,
you.
Y'all have a good night.
Good one. Take care of your mental health, self-care, and those family relationships.
What he said.